Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. Don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and on Bookface. Both links are in the description below. And without any further, I'm patting my head. Why am I doing that? Without any further ado, let's jump right into it. It didn't take long. I stupidly said it would take weeks. No, it's already happening again. The fury and desperation behind buying Bitcoin right now is like a little bit like weird as far as I can kind of tell. For those of you who haven't been paying attention or maybe have not been here, I think something's up. Like, now, okay, hear me out here. I think something's going on that we know about, but that we also don't know the whole story of. So, companies recently have been on like a really weird like kick where the entire like last 3 years, they've been buying like healthy amounts of Bitcoin. 75 Bitcoin here, 800 Bitcoin here. That's kind of, no, not even kind of. It has ramped up recently after the election where once again, for the 95th time, the rumors are that the U.S. is going to start a Bitcoin reserve, like for the country. Like we have Bitcoin to back the dollar, or I don't know exactly what it's meant for. But other countries are apparently buying as well. Got it. We've gone over that before. When I say that, like, we know what's going on, so like we know that that's happening. But then also I feel like we're missing some kind of piece of the pie because the buying that's been going on is like a little bit weird at this point. Like there's too much of it happening. And it's kind of like making me question reality from the standpoint of like, I understand that Bitcoin is rare and finite, but it feels like there's only like one piece of Bitcoin left and everyone's kind of fighting for it. MicroStrategy is once again back in the news. We heard from them their 51,000 Bitcoin purchase, and then they stated that they were trying to raise more money to buy more BTC. I think they said they were trying to raise, I think, $1.5 billion. Must be nice to be able to be like, let's just raise them $1 billion. They're trying to raise another billion. I think it was 1.5 to be able to buy more Bitcoin. And they're back in the news again. I'm pretty sure you can guess why. MicroStrategy has upsized its recently announced convertible senior note offering. What they do and what Semler signed, not Semler. Semler just bought more a couple days ago, and Metaplanet and a bunch of other companies are issuing senior convertible notes against the company like a form of debt. Like basically you buy this from us and at a later date and time, we will pay you back, or we'll give you an equivalent amount of stock or an equivalent amount of X, Y, and Z to be able to pay back our debts, that kind of thing. There we go. They were trying to raise $1.75 billion. Apparently, demand is so high that they're now trying to raise $2.6 billion US dollars. So basically an entire extra $900 million. And usually, for those of you who don't know, what ends up happening is they try and raise 1.1 billion and then they up it. Okay, cool. 1.5 billion. And then they end up getting like 1.7. So I assume from this sale, they're going to get almost 3 billion US dollars. The company, currently the largest corporate holder of BTC, following a buying spree that started in 2020, said in an announcement that the proceeds of the offering will go into the purchase of even more Bitcoin. So cumulatively, they are trying to raise almost $50 billion from now until the next 2 years to buy up more BTC. MicroStrategy previously announced plans to raise 1.75 billion US dollars. The founder, Michael Saylor, in a recent comment on the decision to upsize the note offering, noted that demand was high, I'm certain, because the other companies are looking to basically like get some free money back, irrespective of if Bitcoin does well or not. The MicroStrategy offering, this is weird, is apparently 0%. It's a 0% convertible bond that are due back in 2029 and includes a $400 million green shoe option, which means MicroStrategy has granted initial buyers the option of purchasing an additional $400 million of the note's principal amount. This extends to 3 days from the date of which the company first issued the notes. He said the notes will be convertible into cash, shares of MicroStrategy stock, or a combination of cash and shares of their Class A common stock at MicroStrategy's election. Cool. Awesome. Wasn't expecting this one. I mean, I wasn't expecting it so quick, but alas, here we are. I want to ask what the end game is, but I think I know. It's just kind of like own everything. So, my dreams and aspirations this Christmas are for, I would love like a good billion people to really figure out what's going on and also buy up some Bitcoin for themselves as well. Because at this rate, MicroStrategy and BlackRock are doing like a weird Goku Vegeta kind of thing where like we get it. Like, we know you're rich. You don't have to like openly try and take the most finite asset in the world from everyone else on the planet. But yeah. I sincerely do hope that more people understand what this is and what's coming. Just so we can get, I would love an extra billion people like into the market so that when Bitcoin goes to $1 million, these people can also benefit as well. That's the MicroStrategy just bought, or rather, excuse me, forgive my French, will be buying almost $3 billion worth of Bitcoin in the coming days. I don't know. It usually happens pretty fast. And yeah, let's move on. Also I guess kind of. Crypto exchange Coinbase has what they say discovered over 20 examples of United States regulators advising U.S. banks to steer clear of crypto-related banking services. Back in good old 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, before the world went completely bananas, what used to happen is that there were a lot of like figureheads within the crypto space who were actively in discussions with banks, trying to get cryptocurrencies used or accepted. It seems weird, like now thinking back, they were never going to actually accept it. But we're also like figuring out now that basically they were told by someone. But we should have also kind of assumed that they were being told by someone. The old myth was cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin is decentralized. It can't be controlled, and therefore banks and companies and institutions would never want to use it. So in the weird thing is basically that people were trying to figure out like a bank who would allow them to do their cryptocurrency operations. We had situations where people were like sending money to Coinbase and their bank accounts were frozen. There were people who were withdrawing money from Coinbase and their bank accounts were shut down. And they were asking the bank why. They said, I can't say those words. We don't deal with people who do things illegally on the street. at nighttime and in corners. Really, like that was actually like what these banks were saying. They said, we see that you're using like some kind of an illegal currency, and we don't deal with people who do such things at our establishment. So that led to, this was like 2018, the founder of Litecoin and two other people were actually trying to buy a bank. And in many cases, many of these people were like barred from buying these banks. And everyone was like, what in the world is going on? So as I speculated, it's not even speculation. This is just kind of logicated. Is that a word? It's not. What I basically figured out is that people don't understand what the US dollar is. People think that the US dollar is literally like a dollar, like a piece of paper. It's a literal symbol of power that the US is desperately trying to hold on to. If the US loses the US dollar, basically anyone else can kind of sidestep in and take over everything. We heard that earlier this year as well from a number of, I believe it was politicians, who said that the reason why Gary Gensler was such a difficult human being was because of political aspirations, which is not going to be a thing now. And also because of like trying to uphold the strength of the US dollar. You have to keep in mind all the time that regulators are meant to uphold the system, and the system is the US dollar, and the US dollar is the system. Wherein, if you make it so that someone else can kind of push their way in or get rid of the US dollar, the US loses power. As the strongest superpower, you never want that to actually happen, at least from their vantage point. So I assumed for a long time that a lot of the stuff that was and wasn't happening was basically from people who were like, no, we can't allow this. It's very similar, as I just was talking about, was Facebook coin. The reason why Facebook coin didn't launch and everyone was like, it's a failure, it's not going to work. What you don't get is that these people behind the scenes knew exactly what they were doing. This wasn't some random coin flip. They had been talking to countries for a while to get these countries basically out of debt. For those of you who don't remember or weren't here, the rumors were that there were conversations between Facebook officials in a number of countries who were heavily indebted to other countries. And Facebook allegedly told these countries, we can get you out of debt. We can pay off nearly all of it for you, but you have to start using this coin as a form of currency. Remember, there was like a wheel. I don't know if you can still find it. There were about 30 companies. I'm actually going to see if I can find it. Hold on. There were about 30 companies who announced years ago, let me see, Facebook coin companies. See if it pops up that way. There was like an actual like list. Oh, found it. That was very easy. There were a bunch of companies who announced that they were going to like stand by Facebook. And that was the thing that set off all the alarms for US officials. It wasn't because of Zuckerberg. It wasn't because of so-and-so. It was because these people realized if you've been in conversation with 15 countries who are overnight going to establish Facebook coin as a form of currency within their country, these other companies who announced that they were going to be working with Facebook, some of them said that they were going to have discounts. If you were, and I'll tell you one of the companies, it was Uber. If you are Uber and people are using this coin and you offer them a 15-20% discount if they use Facebook coin, guess what everyone else is going to stop using? It's the US dollar overnight. If Facebook develops a platform that's similar to YouTube and they say, hey, use our platform, we'll pay you in Facebook coin. It sounds ridiculous, but then Facebook has their own marketplace. If Facebook Marketplace has a 50% off sale if you're using Facebook coin, guess where people are going to be shopping? Guess what happens to Amazon? That was the reason why it got shut down. Like, you can literally Google Facebook coin companies and you'll see it's a photo of Libra with a circle around it. It is Kiva, Anderson Horowitz, Farfetch, MasterCard, Uber, PayU, Mercado Pago, Coinbase, PayPal, Bison Trails, Calibra, Zappo, Anchorage, Spotify, eBay, Stripe, Lyft, Visa, Ribbit Capital, Union Square Ventures, and Vodafone. And these were these were the biggest ones who had announced openly that they were immediately, because the news came out so fast, that they were going to be working with Facebook and making Facebook coin essentially. There's a timeline where Facebook is kind of like the currency that everyone's using right now. Because everyone would have automatically, with a Facebook account, been given a Facebook wallet. Crazy, right? Yeah. So Coinbase is always in a sleuthy kind of mode, like a private eye, with a big magnifying glass walking around, and they keep saying that they're finding all this stuff. And I don't really get it, as far as Coinbase is so favored within the financial markets. It's like being rich and wealthy and your family has everything, but you still complain because you don't own the air outside, that kind of thing. They're already partnered with Visa to make cards. They're already partnered with BlackRock and Fidelity and 7 other companies to be the custodian for the largest company on the planet to hold their Bitcoin. And They say that they found examples of basically regulators telling institutions not to deal with crypto-related services. And it's that water also, if you add soap to it, you can take a shower and get clean. You know that if you're thirsty, there's some liquid that comes out of the tap. And if you drink that, you are oh my gosh, I feel so refreshed. Remember earlier, this was 2 years ago. Not Facebook. I keep thinking Facebook. Coinbase had this thing where they were asking all of us, the cryptocurrency community, to come together and message our senators and regulators to make cryptocurrency regulation be better. And it's you're making $100 billion a month. What are you talking about to make regulation better for you or for me? Will I benefit from this in any sort of way, or are you just going to make an extra $50 billion? And this is after they told us that the main focus of their business, remember when they made Coinbase Pro and Coinbase the other thing, and Coinbase custody only for rich people? They basically announced that they thought that the market would only move forward with rich people. So we, normal people, were kind of put onto the back burner. And then when people weren't using their products immediately, they told us to join hands and let's help out Coinbase. Let's make the crypto space better. And it's you only need help when you think you're in trouble. And then the moment things blow over and you're making all your money all over again, to be fair, Coinbase is always making a huge amount of money. That's when they seem to care. So when I saw this news, it was popular because people were conspiracy, that kind of thing. And it's okay, sure. The discovery follows Coinbase filing 2 Freedom of Information Acts, or FOIA requests, against the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or the FDIC, the U.S. agency insuring bank deposits, demanding that they disclose information about the ongoing crypto crackdown among U.S. banks. You know what they're doing. If I can figure it out, you have to. You know how many people the people in Coinbase have to know who would be able to give them a clear answer? If I can tell you that these people are doing it to make sure that crypto doesn't take over and that Bitcoin is tamed in some sort of fashion to keep the U.S. dollar strong, you had to demand information from the FDIC to be why are you doing this? When you know good and well why they would do this. They said, so far, we've uncovered more than 20 examples of the FDIC telling banks to pause or refrain from providing or not proceed with offering crypto banking services. This was said by their legal officer, Paul Grewal, in a Twitter post. Cool. This was very popular news. I think it's because people just like drama in some sort of way. Coinbase was also in there, so I assume the algorithmic news things were also Coinbase, oh my gosh. No, it's not a conspiracy. It's not anything whatever. I do agree that it deserves transparency, especially from like a government standpoint. Everything governmental should be transparent, especially with using like taxes and stuff like that. I believe that I think the US is the only country, the only major country on the planet that does not disclose what it does with taxes. I think every other country, like when you get your taxes back, it says exactly where all of your taxes went to, like to the penny. So I don't think there's going to be any like wave of transparency coming. So good luck with that one. But yeah, the US dollar is meant to be protected by the institution. So this is why I'm such a huge advocate for crypto. But it's also a shame that a lot of people who like understand that the system is against them so actively make sure that they feed into the system as opposed to using an alternative or learning about crypto. That's the Coinbase says something is amiss, but we know what's amiss. It just has to do with like, yeah. Anywho, that's the Coinbase news. Okie dokie. Let's move on. Also in, yay, again, oh my gosh, what? The 22nd time this year, that's crazy. I couldn't have foreseen this one. Ethereum's developers are considering a complete redesign of the network's consensus layer. This has been such an exhausting year for Ethereum. These people have noted, announced, proclaimed, declared, assumed, written down, put forth proposals for Ethereum this entire year. Basically, every developer announcing that they wanted to change this chain. They wanted this to happen. They have this proposal. They wanted ZK Snarks. They wanted Taproot Schnorr, Barney, this thing to happen. They want this thing to take place. Vitalik recently said in separate occasions he has the key to lower gas fees. Then he said he has the thing to lower transaction this, and then he said he wants to make transaction smoother, and he wants to lower the inflation rate, and he wants to make staking easier, and then it's been a constant thing. So now the Beam chain is being spoken about as the next big thing that's gonna not be done until around 2027, because Ethereum always takes a long time to ever like update something. During a presentation at DevCon in Bangkok, there we go, Justin Drake, an Ethereum Foundation researcher, proposed replacing the existing beacon chain consensus layer with a Beam chain. He said Beam chain is a proposed redesign of the consensus layer that incorporates all of the latest and greatest ideas from the research roadmap. Cool. The goal is to try and transition in a safe and fast manner from the beacon chain to the Beam chain, which is much, much closer to the final design of Ethereum. I wish I could believe that. Back in 2016, the proposal was, if you don't remember, is that Ethereum would be Ethereum 2.0 by the year 2017, and that Ethereum 3.0 would happen in 2019. And apparently the final designs for Ethereum would take place around 2020, 2021. We are still like barely into Ethereum 2.0. We have the merge, and we have staking, and we have proof of stake, but basically everything else is kind of in the air right now, with just a multitude of proposals for this actual chain. As I've stated before, not knocking it, as I am not a developer and I do not know what it entails. But gosh darn it, this is getting out of hand at this point. We're like, you can't just keep proposing stuff that you want to happen and then nothing happens or it takes place years later, because that's not how it works. Drake noted that the scope of the Beam chain overhaul would exclusively target the consensus layer. This means the upgrade would not touch the Ethereum virtual machine execution layer or binary large object blob data. Are these real words? So it's the beacon chain and consensus. It would not touch the Ethereum virtual machine or the binary large object blob data layer, both of which are directly consumed by applications. This sounds like I'm speaking another language. So cool. Fantastic. I hope they get it done. I have a feeling they will at some later point. I don't think Ethereum is at any risk as far as like falling behind, as they still are the most used chain. But I mean, you got to get with it because people are going to begin to realize extra faults in the system. Remember when Vitalik was talking about lowering transaction fees? That was mainly a topic of discussion because last cycle, the transaction fees got up to $1,800. So if we have a repeat of that, some other chain is going to swoop us off of our feet and be like, listen, I have, my transaction fees are still 1 cent. It can't last forever. Maybe these things will be rolled out quickly. I kind of remember someone saying like, updates won't take as long anymore. So who knows? Maybe within the first 3 or 4 months, we're going to get like a brand new Ethereum with like 12-cent transaction fees and quicker transactions in general and all that other kinds of stuff. But it's cool to know that they're working on it, but it's also like, oh, okay, still nothing. All right, that's kind of cool. Anywho, yeah, methinks that's going to do it for this video. I hope you're all taking care of yourself. I know things are getting a little bit bananas within the world. So make sure you take time for yourself as well. That's also very, very important. Always do as I say and invite friends over, go on a walk, go see a movie. That's always something that I like to do. Movies are pretty fun. Yeah. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I do hope it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.